This is Marc from the ATV Guys, and today I decided to show you a little something from my trip as a UTV guy. I love UTVs. I love ATVs too, but I love UTVs. But this one has been seen around a lot, but I never really talked about it in depth. And let me, well, you meet Shogun. Shogun is the name of the build. This is my, well, not exactly mine. It's got a really weird history. Actually, this is Jason, my partner's 2016 YXZ 1000R SE, SE2, the second special edition unit that came out. This thing used to be gray and red. I'll show you a picture somewhere if I got it. And so this is the build. And what we did with this thing is that Jason sunk a whole lot of money on that thing when he bought it and everything, and he owns a sled and he owns a SRT8 truck and all this stuff. So he's got a lot of money monthly going out. So it didn't have much of a budget. We did something to make it look good. Well, at least I think it looks good. And it's history because we had some broken plastics on it. Mechanical issues. Like I said, he rides it like he stole it every single time. And since I'm the mechanic friend, it ends up on my workbench, in my garage, and to fix it. So first of all, he burnt the clutch to a crisp. So it ended up in my garage, and it stayed there for about 2 months. So we went through a full teardown of this thing. And I got a few videos here I can show you that when we're building it up. But this is the final build. It's finally done. Actually, I finished it this week. This is the way it's going. It's supposed to stay. I'll be lying to you. Like any guy who's got one of these things lying around is either going to break it or mod it again and again and again. And it's been heavily modded throughout the last 2 years. And the coolest thing I did on this thing is paint. So we painted it a desert camo, and we did graphics on it. So this is all painted, by the way. This is painted on. There's no stickers on this thing. So this has been painted on. So I kind of like the look of it, and I want to make a tribute bike, like a type of an army build, but a little bit different, because all the army builds usually wear the American, the US livery, and I went with a Japanese theme because it's a Yamaha. So we got this thing up top. This was hand drawn, and that's pretty much it on the graphic side. These are stock wheels. They're wearing. This is my tire company, by the way, Traction. This is the Gripper Max, but this is a special instance of the Gripper Max because it's got a extra, and I mean extra soft compound. Because I'll give you a little a little heads up. We're currently finalizing a new tire that's going to come out in about a month or so, and it's going to be an ultra soft tread tire. Actually, we're going to make a winter tire. We're going to make a winter tire for UTV and ATVs, studdable. So it's going to be called the Glacius. It's coming out soon. No pricing yet. This is actually the first time I talk about it in social media, but this is the Generation 3 test. These we get them airshipped from the factory, and this is the third generation compound test. So, and this is the one that we went with. It's very, very soft, so if you're riding on asphalt, you're gonna see that it's gonna be hard on the tires. It's made for winter, so, but it still does it. For racing, it's gonna be awesome. So this is the beast. What we did on it mechanically speaking, the first thing I actually wanted to modify on it was the suspension. Because the OE suspension back then in 2016 was a single spring shock, and that thing used to be tail happy and would nosedive under any circumstance, no matter what the adjustment. And these we got off my other buddy's YXZ 2018 SE, which it's Sylvain Massey, which is one of the racers that I sponsor, and he's got like stage 5 Elka shocks on it. So we got the X2s from him. They were revalved, so they're a little bit more control on it, but I really love it because there's lots of adjustment options on it. There's a comfort spring on it, and I kind of set it up to be comfortable because Jason drives it mostly on his outfitters, because Jason's family owns an outfitter which is called the Domaine du Canyon, Domain of the Canyon, or Canyon Domain, really up close to Forestville, Quebec, really in the middle of nowhere. Hey, we got a wasp here visiting. And one of the first mods that Jason wanted, because the lighting on this thing is well, not very good. This is the alternator kit that we put on it. You can see the alternator here under that shroud. So this gives me way enough juice for all that lighting that we installed on it. So there's rear lights, there's side spotters, there's this one here, and humongous 50, I think it's 54 inches, 52 or 54 inches. Like I say, he's in the middle of nowhere, and when he's riding at night, he couldn't see nothing. So right now he turns night into day. So it rides, you can see actually where you're going. And I got some extensive switch work. We got an HMF switch pod here. So all of this works. We got USB, which you need for your phones. Spy mode is the smaller lights. These are the rear lights. So all the lights are here, and this thing's got a horn. Really loud thing. There we go. So all this wiring, all this custom wiring, straight from the battery. He's got two batteries. There's one, the stock one is under here. There's under that cover there. You see this. I'll talk about this later. But under this cover here, there's an electronic switch for the battery charging, because we got a spare battery in this box here. So this thing runs on dual batteries. So this is the OEM Yamaha tire carrier, which I highly recommend. It's expensive AF. Okay, it's like 600 bucks, but I haven't found anything that's solid enough to that I like. The other ones, they either put the tire up here, or you have to get rid of the box here. But this one does the job. It's really heavy duty. Now what I wanted to show you here, this is the storage box. We have all the goodies, not to stay stuck anywhere, stuff like that. And there is the spare battery, which is huge compared to the stock one. On the electrical, this thing is like mint. It's solid, never misses a beat, and we actually save the stator, which is incredibly weak. There's not enough watt, and I think there's 450 watts. It's barely enough to keep the lights going. So that's pretty much it on the electrical side. Now this gizmo here, because you guys saw it, this is an SNB particle separator. So this particle separator actually separates snow, separates dirt, separates sand, all this stuff, and everything is getting exited by here. The real air filter, which is a square one, is right on top here. You can see the air box there, which is a pain in the butt to get to, so we try to keep him clean as possible. And ever since we got this thing installed, it's been smooth sailing ever since. So this actually works. Like, it's 500 bucks. It's 500 bucks really well invested to keep your engine clean and save those air filters that are just way too expensive. The air intake usually is here, so this is going in here, and it's getting the air to the air box through here. So that's one mod that we really enjoyed about this this unit. It actually saved us money. So on the other side, we got these things, which are Super ATV rock sliders. Reason why I like these a lot is because of the underbelly. Let me show you the under part, because it's a big piece of metal. So it's nice, it's sturdy, it's huge, and it really does protect the unit. So lots of protection. It's not only one single tube popping in and getting bolted. It's got undercarriage protection. So that's really nice, and they're not that expensive. Like, I think they're like 300 bucks Canadian. So this is one of the mods. Another thing I did, what I did recently, is that I took apart all the suspension. It used to be gray, and I haven't gotten to doing it yet. And I changed all the zerks, all the grease zerks. They're all at the 45 to 90 degree angle for better accessibility, because Jason is a little bit lazy. And so I changed all of those all around. I de-seized or unseized all the bushings. There's like 8 up front, there's 6 out back, and out of those, most of them were seized up. Like 4 were seized almost to be done for. So I did all that, unseized it, and saved a bunch of dough. This is the GYTR front bumper, and this is the only bumper that I really like for the YXZ, because you can actually see the lights, and it's got the Warren winch. Well, we changed the tie rods recently, so I went with Moose, which is available through my buddies at revco.ca. Redid the alignment on it. It was off again. Jason tries it like he stole it. So go fast mods on it. There's a bunch of stuff that I did to it. First of all, since it's a Gen 1 and it's a manual shift, so it's manual shifting with a clutch. What I really wanted to is to be able to ride it in trails at a slow pace without either burning the clutch or always cocking it down, you know, like always stalling it. We've got the Alba Racing heavy flywheel on it, and it radically changed the way this machine behaves. This is one that it's not the best mod we did to it yet, but this is one of the better mods, especially for drivability, that we did to this unit. Get the heavy flywheel if you're trail riding. It's just freaking awesome. I can't say enough good things about that flywheel. Insane. It's like 200 bucks or something like that. Bang for the buck. It's one of the best mods to do on, especially manual shift. It does also better on the SS. Guys that are burning their clutches on the SS units, riding trails at low speed, go get one of these. Really awesome. The other thing is the engine. Engine ECU has been reflashed. Reflashed it twice. The first reflash we did was kind of a generic flash. It was offered to us by someone in the US, and it just didn't work out. Wasn't bad, but it was missing. I wanted more timing. I wanted more fuel. So, you know, we installed less restrictive air filters. We installed also an exhaust. There's an HMF Quiet Series exhaust in there, which is about the only HMF exhaust that I actually like. It's a question of personal taste. I'm not saying they're junk. It's a question of personal taste. Just the way they sound, it doesn't sound obnoxiously loud. So that's something I like a lot about it. But so the first reflash was, I wanted more out of it, and I managed to get more. So actually, one of my buddies to access it, he had the machine, so I reflashed it myself on the dyno and verified my findings with Gagné Lessard Sport in Quaticook, Quebec, because he's got an engine dyno. Really cool little place. So look him up if you're in Quebec and you want some really intense tuning, like real tuning. Go to these guys, gagnelessard.com. Here's the number. That place is awesome. So right now it's actually pulling almost 110 to the wheel, so I'm expecting about 130, 135. And HP numbers, I hate HP numbers. Like I'm an engine builder. I build engines. I I hot rod engines, and most of the time, I can get on a dyno and make it say anything. So most of the stuff, and I'm sorry to say that, but most of the stuff is BS. So, you know, lots of honest folks out there, but there's some dishonest people that put really screwed up numbers for that. So I don't like that. So we raised the red line. We got a set of cams in there. Raised the red line up to 11.2. It actually tops out a little bit over 150 kph, 150 kilometers an hour. So it's like almost 90 miles an hour. I'm happy with it, and it's been dead reliable, dead reliable. Never broke down, except recently. But it wasn't an engine issue. So it's fast. I love the way it shifts. And one issue we had since the first clutch, we put in a Barnett clutch, and we didn't get the pressure plate from the flywheel is with one big spring, and I didn't like the feel of it. So last week I installed another one. It's a Barnett unit with springs, and clutch feel is awesome now. Really awesome. I think my stack height is a little bit too high, but because it drags a little bit when you press the pedal to the floor, it just slightly drags. We'll see. I haven't ridden more than 2 clicks with it. I just went around the block here. So, but that's one very cool mod that I like about it, because manual shifting this thing is awesome. So that's what's done on it. The exhaust. You see the mud flaps. I made custom mud flaps for it, because one issue is they put in some really cheap paint from factory, and I put really good paint here, and I don't want it to be going all over the place. So with this, I custom made a little bracket for it that goes on OEM screws that are there. So it's gonna stop this from getting sandblasted all the time. So I'm pretty happy with that. What else have we done? Oh yeah, we had one major failure on this unit. Once we had a failure, and it's actually the drive shaft. Wow. I'll show you a little movie that I made, but we got it repaired. It was repaired and re-welded, thanks to this gentleman here, and that's about it. So we got this exhaust manifold that I use exhaust header tape on it, which actually is very good. Keeps the temperature down here, makes better velocity for the exhaust gases. Oh yeah, I'm not getting a lot of performance out of it. It works better, okay? And the last thing I got is this thing, this Alba Racing manual tensioner, which is an issue with this unit, with this motor. The stock one is, it has a tendency to block, to jam up, and then the timing chain is always clack 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 clack, and it sounds like you're driving a piece of junk. So now we got it back. We got this back in. You got to be careful not to adjust it too tight, otherwise you're going to scrap the guides inside. So you just a slight pressure on it until it stops making noise. You adjust it while the engine is running and when it's hot. So just a slight pressure on it. As soon as it stops making noise, you back it off just a little bit, and you lock her in, and you're good for a long while. So just check it occasionally. On occasion, when you come in washing and stuff like that, just make sure the tension is fine and listen to the engine. The engine's going to tell you if it's loose or not. Don't ever over tighten these things, otherwise it's going to be quite expensive. Oh, I forgot one thing. The cage. This is a cage that I picked up from a local racer. It's made in the US. It's a pre-made cage. It was a pain to put in there, by the way. It just didn't fit, but the stock cage is extremely weak on these, especially the first gen. The second gen, they've been modified, but this cage actually changes the look radically, and I like the look. much better looking. So this is it. I'm gonna ask you, if you like this stuff, give me your feedback. What do you think about this budget build in total since beginning of ownership? Less than a little around 3,500 Canadian. So, and this is what we got to show for it. Except for tires. My tires are sponsored, obviously, my tire company, but the rest is 3,500. Now seriously, it works great and I'm happy with it, but just give us some feedback. Tell me what you would have done, and what you would have done differently, and I'd appreciate that. And if you can, smash that like button. I like the like button. The thumbs up actually has a good effect on me. It makes me think that people actually enjoy what I'm doing, so go for it. At the same time, if you would subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is ATV Guys, you're obviously here. If you're on Facebook, go subscribe, ATV Guys. This is what I do. I do this full time. I don't make a lot of money and I don't get sponsored by manufacturers. It's I kind of adopted this unit, and like I said, I showed it a lot and I never really talked about it. So this is Shogun. Thanks. I'm Marc, and I'm going riding.